Once in a while, there comes an anime series that is cut above everything else. A rare gem that you'll either love or hate, even if you'll probably never know exactly why. A series that is so deep, its real value comes not from an immediate success and viewership rates, but from the expression it will leave in the viewer's mind, the emotions that it will make you feel, and the places that it will hold in your heart. An anime that's really difficult to review. An anime like Funu wa Imyu, or its English translation, The Great Passage, Norimina Block's choice for fall of 2016. So how's it going, guys? My name is JcGreen and welcome to another anime review, this time on The Great Passage. Let's get started. The narrative of The Great Passage is exceedingly straightforward. Our main character, Majime, is plucked out of his sales position at the Genbu Shobu because of his passion and attribute for language. Throughout this process, the show explores Majime's daily life and how he develops as a character both in and outside of the office, as well as the various hurdles and trials the creative team must face in order to realize their dream of completing The Great Passage. The series is divided into two parts, the first following Majime as he begins on the project and detailing how his normal workplace life looks like, while the second part jumps 13 years later at their nearly publishing phase. The decade-long efforts that he and the people he works with dedicate themselves into something that you rarely see in this anime medium. The premise is simple and the characters are likable and realistic. Nothing really extraordinary happens. The hurdles that they go through are not extravagant and their conversations are lifelike and convincing. You'll not find any special powers, no fan service, no pools of blood, or no accidental nudes. You won't hear any composed speeches and vows of revenge or shouts of camaraderie. This is life, simple yet complicated, played by a talented cast of voice actors who had the luck to perform some especially well-crafted characters. The Great Passage's purpose is not to entertain, but to lure the viewers into a deeper level of meaning where the anime explores themes that very few anime have struggled with, like love, romance, friendship, mentorship, human connections, and so many more. The Great Passage touches all these themes in a very personal and realistic level that we occasionally encounter in anime. And unlike the majority of anime which sacrifices substance in the favor of sellability, The Great Passage manages to deliver this level of quality in a narrative that is complete in just 11 episodes. Like any good story, written or otherwise, it quietly builds to the greatness that is the last episode. The most important thing to understand about The Great Passage is that it is an utter romanticization of dictionary making. The show is best defined by its most extravagant ideas. The dictionaries aren't cold and calculated list of words, but rather important tools which help people connect and find the perfect sentiments of which to express how they are feeling. No two dictionaries are alike, each harbor their own unique personality gifted to them by the people who worked to compile their contents. Language is alive and changing, and it is the job of those who make dictionaries to help people change with it. The show is full of this passion and hopeful sentimentality, and while very heartfelt and enduring in of itself, its unwavering focus on these topics may leave its story feeling uninteresting and repetitive. For me though, The Great Passage is difficult to describe. It's the kind of anime that is difficult to go unnoticed because it takes a seemingly boring theme and manages to make it profoundly interesting. I'm not familiar enough with the world of dictionary writing to really analyze it, but I know enough about the fundamentals to understand that if it was easy to do, a lot more people would be doing it. It's also difficult to describe it in the terms of story and characters because the real essence of the anime doesn't lie in the creation of the anime or the characters as individuals, but instead of the whys of dictionary creation and the dynamics between the limited cast. Within the context of The Great Passage, the contents of each dictionary says as much about the time we live in and the words we say as they do about the people who make them. So in this vein, it makes sense that The Great Passage not only centers around the act of compiling language and words for The Great Passage, but for the hardworking and passionate people who do so. The Great Passage does a fantastic job of illustrating Majime's introvert nature through a variety of character quirks. The way he carries himself, hunches over, and hesitates before speaking all contributes to his odd yet enduring persona. He sometimes observes people boarding escalators and purposefully slows his gait in order to watch them ascend. This reverence for the slightly strange act says so much about his temperament, and the way he overthinks things and takes people's questions too seriously further accentuates his characterization. explanation. What Majing's reserved personality means to him is that he has a hard time expressing himself. He appears distant from others, so the idea of dictionaries as tools used to connect people and help them express what they want to say is a very attractive and thematically relevant one in regards to Majing. As both the protagonist and the newest addition to the editorial department, he personifies all the dedication and affection that goes into the process of dictionary making. His subtle development and passion for words serves as the fundamental core of the show. The rest of the cast is relatively small, and I won't go into too much detail about all of them, but most of the characters that are mentioned work alongside Majing in the editorial department. The only notable exception to this is Kouhei Araki, the daughter of Majing's landlord lady, whom he meets and gradually grows more familiar with. As the story progresses, he gets to know her more and sees her achieve her goals as well. Her interactions with Majing is quite funny, as Majing doesn't know how to voice his feelings or how to interact with a woman he likes at all. Nishioka offers a more energetic and relatable character than Majing, though he doesn't possess the same fascination for language as some of the other characters. He nonetheless exemplifies the same dedication as everyone else. The most pronounced characteristic of the Great Passage's cast is their authenticity. They seem like very realistic people, which is a trait that lends itself well to the show's grounded sense of drama. You gain a real sense of how much sincerity they put into their work. Last but not least, the show successfully depicts dictionary as a creation, something akin to the works of arts. To be fair, if we think of it that way, it makes the whole process make so much more sense. The Great Passage is a brainchild of all the people behind the project, so everything has to be perfect, from the selection of the words that eventually appear in the dictionary, the descriptive process, down to how to choose designs, mascots, and even pages quality that best represents the personality of the dictionary, the Great Passage. That lends us to the mistakenly tasked but ultimately rewarding of double checking every single entry to see if there are any words missing. As the tasks are done, the team and ultimately us feel relieved that the Great Passage is going to be a masterpiece. The art in the Great Passage was exactly what the story needed in order to shine. Clear character expressions, adequate background drawings, and great allegorical scenes. This anime has a strong use of backgrounds and excellent color design. While a couple backgrounds here lean on flatly precise rectangles, sets like the hall outside of the editorial office and Majing's apartment are full of lively details. The overall brown-yellowish color palette reminds me of Hyoka and establishes a similar tone. Colors like these speak to long and familiar afternoons, hours spent in the room marked by dog-eared books and dusty shelves. There were moments in this anime where the art and animation direction was allowed to really shine in a way that makes me go, oh yeah, this is why I like anime. There is one scene where no dialogue is spoken near the end of the first episode and where one of the characters sees everything in words, which is used to indicate how much language encompasses our world in everyday action. It should be obvious that I thought that was pretty cool. One of the most pervasive themes of the show is the idea that words are an ocean and dictionaries a ship which people can utilize to ford the gulf between themselves and others, hence the namesake of the Great Passage. While these visual metaphors didn't appear nearly as often as I would like them, when they do, they really hammer home the sentimentality of the scene with imaginative and striking visuals. Given the nature of the Great Passage's premise and story, some could say that its visuals wouldn't be one of its core assets. However, it somewhat subverts this through ubiquitously subtle character animations and visual metaphors. The Great Passage is undoubtedly a more adult-oriented, realistic workplace drama, and so the attention to detail in how the characters move around, conduct themselves, and interact with their environment goes a long way in underscoring this attribute. My only small nitpick of the use of the animation would be during the mid-sections of every episode where cartoonish dictionaries spout out exposition about the industry and gleefully discuss one another's properties. This for me just felt out of place and off tune of the otherwise very calm and subtle atmosphere of each episode. But overall, besides that, I really have nothing further to complain as far as with the whole animation and art direction. Much like the characters and the general attitude of the story, the music is determined and uplifting. The soundtrack often possesses a kind of grand and trumpeting tone that fairly successfully imparts the importance and scale of what everyone in the editorial department were trying to accomplish. The music itself wasn't particularly memorable or striking, and at times its enthusiasm felt kind of out of tune with the dialogue-driven scenes. However, it supported the show's atmosphere terrifically. The Great Passage has a very energetic intro song with fitting imagery imagery. For such a calm anime with a slowly progressing story, the intro song Cheoke's by Taeko Okazaki fits the anime perfectly when you look at the lyrics. The intro song shows a lot of the important characters and some iconic subjects such as the Ferris wheel and Majing's cat. The outro song is quite calm, but does fit the anime as well. As I mentioned, it's a pretty calm anime. Have I not mentioned that already? And the imagery shown with the song was fantastic. I by Leola fits well with the atmosphere that the song creates overall. The music direction by Aiki Yoshiharu makes sure that the right tune were placed at most relevant scenes. For the Japanese sub, I can't really say much about it besides the voice acting was amazing from what I could tell, and in unison with the realistic facial expressions and exemplary writing gave the characters the necessary lifelike attributes that the story demanded. Funuwa e Mu, or The Great Passage, is an anime that's not going to be for everyone's taste, as the concept of writing a dictionary is very niche and there's no animeism to draw into in the nerd crowd. However, I think the idea of writing in general was relatable enough for me to give this a shot. I had hopes that the show would get more dramatic over time, which it did. The older I get, the more I'm wearing off at the high school slice of life comedy and action anime, since more of these titles speak to me on a personal level. I'm really glad anime still have platforms like this, shows that abandon all the spectacular over-the-top visuals to instead telling us the story it wants to tell. The sophistication behind the story and the love that the people behind it put into are something that I will remember fondly. I'll cut to the chase. Give The Great Passage a chance. It's very likely that it will bore you out of your mind, especially if you're used to the fast action series and or overly cute slice of life moe spectacles. Hell, I've even heard people feel the major drawbacks of the show was on how monotone it stayed. On the other hand, there is a strong possibility that you'll love it, so much that it will make you wonder what kind of shit series you'll get every season just for the sake of the Blu-ray and merchandise sales. The Great Passage may not sell many discs or have an extensive range of merchandise, but it will certainly be one of those rare anime that truly had something important to say. I would recommend The Great Passage to those who are looking for a more measured, adult-oriented drama. Its authentic characters and grounded setting means that its style of drama is very subtle and relatedly inconsequential, but ultimately more genuine as a result. Those interested in workplace settings and the idea of creativity and passionate collaboration would do well to watch the show and see if it appeals to them. Well, anyways, that wraps up my review of Funuwa e Mu, or The Great Passage. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, please comment down below on your thoughts and opinions of this anime. I would love to know if either you've seen this anime or more or less, what do you guys think about it? Regardless, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more anime content. And of course, guys, as always, I will see you guys next time, hopefully maybe within a week, maybe two, in my next anime related video. Peace out, guys.